Today we're going to look at this ice auger. I have the auger and everything in the other room, but yeah, had this sitting around for a year. I think it's going to need some fuel line, just a general cleanup, and then we'll put it up for sale. I'm not sure how far we'll get with it today because I don't have the fuel line if it needs it. Doesn't look that bad, but I'd like to give it a good cleaning before I do anything. But it's that time of year, and it's going to be winter soon, and somebody probably could use this. I don't really do ice fishing, so I mean I used to, but I don't really do it anymore. So I'm assuming this is a compression release valve. I mean, otherwise this thing looks pretty good. I'm wondering how far we should even go into this. I'm thinking we're going to clean the carb because I know the history of this thing. It's been hard to start. And I mean, like, the switch went bad, so this switch was put on. I'm not sure which way is on and which way is actually off. Maybe opposite of what it says, but we'll assume that that's correct first. So yeah, the first thing we should do, I think, is we'll check for spark, make sure it's alright. And then we will go from there. So let's take out the spark plug and take a look at it. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's got spark, so on must actually be on. Okay. Okay, that's good news. Man, it's got compression. Okay, so the compression release valve this way is closed, this way is open. You can hear the compression coming out. This thing must be a fun thing to start. We're going to have to put this in a stand or something when we get to that point. I'm going to have to figure that out. But it is not fun to start as is. No wonder they start replacing these things with electric ones that use, you know, tool batteries and stuff, because that's the way to go. Alright, so we're going to take the carburetor apart, we're going to clean it up, make sure it's good, and we'll put everything back together. I want to check these hoses. They look alright. I thought they were in way worse shape than they are, but let's do that next. It's got too big. That's good. I mean, the thing about this is it only gets used a handful of times in the winter. The rest of the year it just sits around. Like, I mean, that's pretty gross looking. I mean, like, do you really need this is the question. This thing just needs a cleaning. It's in okay shape. There's your choke. Let's see. 9mm. Actually, it might be. Let's go like that, so we don't drop it on by accident. Okay, so get those two off. Thing on the top. It's got a bolt on the top too. So this thing definitely has been started in at least 2 years. Could have been longer than that. That's why I kind of want to give the carburetor a quick clean before we do anything else. And little spacers here. I don't want to lose any of this stuff. And the linkage. I'm going to have to take this out. Of course, it's in the worst angle possible. Oh, good. The clamp just broke. Snapped right there. I don't know if I have a clamp this small. We'll cross that bridge later. Okay. So all it has is a spring on this. Never actually pulls back all the way. The other thing, how are you supposed to get this out? Why did they do this? This little bar goes all the way up on the inside. You have to take out. Do these come out? These are loose in there. Wonder if you have to take out these two. That's gonna be fun. So this is actually a 5/16, it looks like. Okay. Now, can I get this one out, is the question. This is going to be fun to put back together. I don't really want to take the whole top half of this off just to get this out. It looks like it might be the screw on the top, but I'd rather figure that out after we get this off. Okay, so that pulls down. Ah, okay. So this must be a governor, sort of, because this pulls, like you could pull the throttle, but this will pull it back. So that's what that's about. Okay. Alright, so I am going to, you can see the two bolts under there. This seal, it's okay, but definitely has oil residue, which makes me wonder if it's been leaking. I'll make sure that's pretty tight when we put it back. I should just leave this here for now. We'll clean all that up. I don't really want to lose this spring. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to disassemble this real quick, and then we're going to run it through the ultrasonic cleaner, get it nice and cleaned up. I have a feeling it's not going to be that bad though, but I'd rather give it a quick clean before we try anything out. And we're going to have to be careful when we put this back in, so it definitely would not have worked if we took that out because this thing's too long. And it's attached, obviously, to the throttle plate. So, okay, so I'm going to unscrew all this, and we will go from there. Okay, so let's just take this thing apart and look at it. It's going to all get cleaned up. We just need to try to save any gaskets. Hopefully nothing rips, because we'll have to get a repair kit then, because I don't have any of these gaskets. But this will give us an idea about how clean this thing is. Okay. Really pretty clean. What we'll do is we'll blow out all the jets and everything, make sure everything's good. That actually looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I just know this thing has sat a lot of its life, so I figure it can't hurt to check it out. You know, it has spark. My guess is it'll kick over. I do have to go grab some premix too. I think this thing's got an odd, it's like 1 to 52 or something. I think that's the mixture, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. There's some crap in there, just a little bit. This diaphragm is pretty tight. Is it worth even taking this out? Probably should. This guy. We're gonna rip this, I think. Maybe not. This thing is not in. It's okay, but it's a little hard. It's a little brittle. We'll go with it for now since I don't have another one. But let's see. It's interesting. It's got a little bump down there. It's got a little bump right there. Feels like, is there something wrong with it? I mean, there's a little bit of crap in here, but nothing really of too much concern. I mean, it doesn't take much to crap things up, but I always remember taking this screw out. It's the biggest pain in the butt to get it all back, but I want to see. Looks pretty good, actually. Put that there. I'm going to just spray this out. It is going to go through, but through the cleaner, but it can't hurt to give it a quick spray. Oh, lost the spring. Can't lose that. The spring is right there. The question is it even worth running this thing through? For all this, it's really pretty clean. I mean, everything moves pretty well. I think we're just going to leave it as is. We're going to just clean up all this stuff real quick. I just don't see the point. I can see through all the passageways and just blowing through, everything's moving fine. So I'm not even going to bother putting this in the cleaner. We are going to take this and put it back together as is. Let me just clean off all these parts. Not going to spray this. And there's a little bit of crap on it. Just don't know what will happen with this if I go crazy. So let me spray that. We're going to just go for it like this. So we just got to make sure you put this back on right. Goes this way. But I mean, that's in actually great shape. Normally they don't feel like this. Help if I put this on the right way. This goes this way. So we're just going to put this back together and go for it. Hopefully it runs alright. Does it have any adjustments? Doesn't look like it. So we will put those screws back in. A little bit of crap on the end of that. Alright, put them back in. Okay. Looks good. Alright, now we gotta put that, we're gonna give this guy a quick spray without losing it, hopefully. I'm gonna put this right here for a second because I gotta spray off this spring, which is gonna be fun. Also, wear gloves when you're doing this. Do as I say, not as I do. Now, this teeny tiny stuff is always fun. Getting this spring in place is going to be fun because I don't think think I'm probably gonna need something to hold this, because this thing is slightly magnetic. It only sticks when it wants to, though. Oh. Huh, that actually worked. I just held it together as I dropped it down. Usually that gives me a hell of a lot more trouble than that. So, okay, I can feel that's bottomed out. I mean, everything's fine in here. It's not corroded or anything. The spring is in a good spot now. Alright, so let's spray this down. You've got to be careful with things like this. But this could actually be the failure point if I have trouble with this thing, because this is... it's really kind of brittle. I'm sure they sell a rebuild kit that includes it, so you can hear it, how brittle it is. Normally they're a little bit softer than this when they're in good shape, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Right, so the bump is right there, so this has to go that way. Spray this down. This does actually have a little tiny bit of stuff on it, but honestly it's not enough for me to think it would cause any kind of issue. So, I don't think it matters which way this goes on. Don't go too crazy tightening these up. Alright, so I'm going to say let's put this back on there and see what happens. Okay, so what we're going to do is spray all this off. See if we can make it a better seal. Okay, so okay, gotta put this spring back on. Got all the crap on it. The spring may be a little weak in my opinion. I'm going to go with it for now. If it becomes an issue, we'll go from there. Here, look at this. So this goes like that. Okay, so the spring is in. I'm going to put the spring, I don't know if I can show this. Okay, so the spring, it goes over that, and then you have to push it down. Probably going to use this. And that's it. It's in place. I know, nothing's screwed on, but just to give you an idea. Alright, so I am going to put these screws back. So I'm putting that screw in right there. That's the spring that controls the throttle. So I'm going to hand tighten these as much as I can, and I'll come back with the little wrench, whatever I did with it. It's here somewhere. How do I lose something that's was right here? Ah, here it is. Dropped it before, I guess. So I'm just going to hand tighten these down as far as I can. Click. Alright, so that's good. Let's check out the inside of this tank too while we're at it. It's got a little screen on the inside. Looks like it has some crap in it. Nothing too terrible. For now I'm going to leave this clamp because it's still squeezing. So hopefully it's enough to hold that. If it leaks at all, I'll come back and replace that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this guy a little spray in the reverse order. And we'll rinse out the tank a little bit. It's building pressure. I'm going to go dump that. Alright, so let's put this guy back on. Probably easier said than done, but it's okay. I thought this hose was in really bad shape. It's actually in really good shape. It's still soft, pliable. I really don't think I have one of these little tiny clamps, so if it leaks, like I say, I will come back and replace it. If not, well, it's probably going to stay for the life of the thing. I mean, that's not going anywhere. Alright, so we got left. Gotta hang that down first. We're gonna clean off all this. Oh, we forgot one thing. I guess I could probably put this on after, but spacers. I don't know if I'd call these spacers. They're just, well, I guess they are spacers. They're spacers to make sure that that sits flat. We'll drop these guys in. This one. I would switch back and forth because you have to pull up the bolt that's in the bottom part. So you want to put semi-even pressure on this, and considering it's plastic, you gotta be careful that you don't crack it. Alright, so we gotta put this guy on. Man, that thing is all broken. Well, maybe that's why it had all this extra stuff on it. Okay. Yeah, that's broken. Oh well. It is what it is. Okay, so I need to find some fuel for this thing. So I will go do that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to clean these filters up. Okay, so I cleaned this and I oiled it up. So I'm going to put that back in there for now. And I cleaned this really good. This actually has a little bit of cleaner, carb cleaner on it still, so it may actually be enough to make it kick off for a second. But I figured it's not the prettiest looking thing, but it worked. I don't actually know if this thing's necessary. It's kind of a weird... Oh, it's 24 to 1. That's what I meant to... It's an oddball one. So I am going to leave this in here for now, but if I have some trouble running it, I think I might take that out, because like this thing's run in the dead of winter, you know. So normally things that are run in the dead of winter don't really have filters because there's not a lot of dust. So for now, we'll leave it. We'll see if it's necessary. If not, probably gonna take that off because I don't see the point. They really like to twist to the side, don't they? Yes, they do. If you're forcing these screws, you're doing it wrong. Alright, so I am going to go wash my hands because I'm covered in oil, and then I will be right back. Okay, so 24 to 1 is 5.5 ounces of oil to 1 gallon of gas. So next step, some of that, because I don't have any 24 to 1. Usually I have 40 or 50 to 1. Usually 40 is what I go. So that is almost full already, which could be a problem because I'm going to have to store this thing a little bit. So, and it fits in a 5-gallon bucket, fine. So I have the compression off, I have the choke on, I have the switch on. Let's see. Started up pretty easy. A little bit smoky, so I'm almost wondering if it's a little too much oil to gas. Alright, well, it works. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think maybe the oil content needs to come down just a hair because I do see a little tiny bit of smoke. But beyond that, I think this thing's ready to go. Alright, so guess that's that. I will see you in the next one. Hopefully I can find something else to fix. See, got a little bit of oil here. So I would say, yeah, you either had some oil in it or too much oil overall. So anyway, I will see you in the next one.